The drama continues in Switzerland, in the village of Blatten, and it keeps unfolding. And according to authorities, the worst is yet to come. But for 10 people, it is already quite bad. They're cut off from the outside world. It's like an Alp hotel employees, they are stuck, and they say it's an emotional challenge. So the landslide, the rocks that have already come down have cut them off. And now the whole mountain is threatening to come down because more than 9 million tons of rocks and material have landed on the glacier that has doubled the speed with which it's coming down towards the valley. And I want to show you some videos how powerful landslides like this can be. Just last year, the village of Brienz in May had to be evacuated because of a landslide. But the mountain there was not even as steep and high as the one here in Blatton. But you can see how much mass and how powerful that was, and it just narrowly missed the village. And the threat is not over yet, so it can happen again. But if you look at how tall the mountain is that is coming down for Blatton, plus now the glacier is threatening to come down. It's called Murgang. So we will have water, ice, and rocks coming down. So you see a landslide here, for example, big rocks coming down, falling on a truck, or you see in China how these big mudslides unfold. So there's many videos and many pictures how quickly these landslides can develop and how dangerous they are. But now imagine you have this huge Swiss Alp mountaintop that has come down. The mountaintop has already come down. Over 340 feet in height has been lost, and all that is now on the glacier, and we can see the glacier fracture in real time. That is their biggest concern right now. But what's happening to these 10 people? Because yes, for them it's very bad, but the entire village is threatened to be buried under a rock slide, and the Alpine Hotel, that's how it's called, is already cut off from the outside world. So what happens next? Blatten lies in Valais in Switzerland, and the bad news from the village of Blatten, with a population of roughly 300, but it's a tourist village, so lots of tourists are also there usually. So that small community in Switzerland is threatened with being buried by the mountain. It's not a rock slide, they're calling it now a mountain slide. That's how powerful it is. Thankfully, it has already been evacuated, the road have been closed. But now today has been revealed that the Alpine Hotel has been cut off from the outside world by the Scree avalanche. So this hotel is set in a very picturesque setting. It was not buried by the landslide, but 10 employees have been trapped there ever since. I hope they have enough supplies in a hotel so that they could last there a while longer, but it's not really nice. So especially since various media outlets, and I'm sure they're getting that news as well while they're in the hotel, the movement of the mountain has recently doubled the speed. Now like 17 feet per day, the whole glacier is coming down anyways. That's way more than normal glacier speed. So this is not normal. It's really coming down, and if the weather gets worse, meaning it gets warmer and there's more rainfall, that could act like lubricant. So extreme tilting movements are occurring on the big glacier in the Lötschental Valley, and several cracks have formed in the front section of the glacier. So they're thinking, will the front section collapse first, or will everything come down? According for the Cantonal Office for Natural Hazards, the glacier is in danger of breaking off. How much? All of it, they don't know. But they say it could happen that parts of the glacier could break off in the coming hours or in the coming days, and in extreme cases, plunge into the valley like an avalanche. And there it could clog a river and flood the valley. And in 2022, Blatten has already been, in the summer of 2022, like really devastated by a flood, And they also called it a Murgang. So there was a landslide that caused flooding to the village. And now this. Worst case scenario, several million cubic meters of rock will bury the village of Blatton, and then it's over and out. When Blatton was evacuated only 10 days ago, the evacuation has also affected 10 employees of the Fafleralp Hotel. It's because the roads to the hotel were closed. The employees have been trapped ever since at an altitude of 1,089 meters. The access roads are impassable. And usually that hotel boasts of celebrity guests, like cult comedian Charlie Chaplin is said to have vacationed there. Former German Chancellor Gerhard Schröder is said to have stopped by during a state visit. And at least the rock slide hasn't affected the hotel so far. So they're saying we're doing well, we don't lack anything. But emotionally, they say it's a challenge. We feel locked in. That's what hotel manager Barbara Achreiner has told the Swiss media. So the summer season was supposed to start this weekend, May 24th, 25th. And this was, of course, is now logically postponed. And the longer it takes, the more difficult it becomes. The danger is remaining and it's accelerating, but nothing is happening so far. It hasn't come down completely. And they say we're starting to feel trapped in this hotel. Now there's delivery problems to the hotel with supplies. They are saying, well, for example, we'd like to prepare our homemade specialties. We have plenty of time, but we lack the ingredients. Yeah, I think it could be worse. But the hotel manager says she hopes that what naturally has come down will finally come down so that everything will be over. But what will then happen to the village and the hotel that's cut off from the outside world? The Blatten Municipal Council plans to return to the village, but they say nature dictates when. The glacier movement sets the time. The glacier will tell them yes or no, and the glacier decides whether it wants to destroy the village or maybe miss it by a little bit, like Brienz. The rockfalls are still occurring repeatedly from the Kleiner Nesthorn mountain. All the material, most of it landing on the glacier. The pressure on the glacier is tremendous. And everything could come down into the valley like a massive, massive avalanche that could bury parts or the whole village. The best case scenario, that's what the authorities are hoping for, is that the mountain will break off in small sections and then that the glacier will slowly move downhill. But that's the best case scenario. That's what they hope for, but it could also come down all at once. That's why they are working at high speed to expand their surveillance and to line out further scenarios. What else could happen? It's still completely unclear when the evacuation of Blatten in Valais can be lifted. The residents are still determined. They're saying we will return to our village, but nature decides when. The municipal council has thanked the residents of the small town for their patience. Well, what else can you do? Your life's on the line. And this likely applies to the employees of the Fafleralp Hotel probably still too, who are, while I'm doing this video, they're still stuck in the middle of uncertainty about when and how things will continue. And it seems that it's not that easy to evacuate them with a helicopter or something, because you'd assume that by now they would have done that. So guys, this is my update, but really, if you want to see what's happening there, check out all my other videos. It's really, really interesting, but also check out what's happening with Campiflegris. That is really crazy. I think the new data and findings, that's the most alarming, the most scary findings ever at Campiflegris, because it says basically it's imminent. Watch the video in the end screen and go to my channel start page, click videos. There you have all of them, and best subscribe and like the video and check out the links in the description if you want to buy me a coffee to support the channel. Thanks guys. I see you very, very soon. Safe and sound. Don't get onto any mountains that might come down. See you.